Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Shabnam Shah, Associate Professor, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapith, Jaipur. Today, our topic is disproportion. Disproportion means it is basically cephalopelvic disproportion. So, definition wise, what do you mean by disproportion? So, a disproportion is a disparity in relation between the head of the fetus and the pelvis means it is basically disparity means whatever the size of the head and size of the pelvis they are not in coordination with each other, that is discoordination. Disparity means size and shape of the head of the fetus and that of the pelvis is they are not in coordination with each other, that is cephalopelvic disproportion. So disproportion and basically, it may be because of the big baby hydrocephalus. The size of the pelvis will be very small, or either there will be pelvic inlet contraction. Means the transverse diameter is less than 12 centimeter, or in a contracted mid pelvis. Inlet might be contracted, pelvic inlet might be contracted, mid pelvis might be contracted, or outlet pelvic outlet might be contracted. So inlet contraction, whenever the transverse diameter is less than 12 centimeter, mid pelvis is contracted. Whenever the posterior sagittal diameter of the mid pelvis is less than 13 centimeter, 13 tera, 13 centimeter and below, then it is called as mid pelvis contraction or contracted mid pelvis. Contracted outlet in this, the ischial tuberosity diameter is less than 8 centimeters. Whenever the ischial tuberosity diameter is less than 8 centimeters, then it is contracted outlet. Now we will go towards the diagnosis. Diagnosis of CPD, cephalopelvic disproportion at BREAM. Clinically, we have to diagnose. We have to diagnose by investigation and cephalometry. The first one is clinical. Clinical in this abdominal examination, abdominal method, and abdomino-vaginal method. Two methods are there. The first one is abdominal method. In clinical, it is in multi gravida. Previous history of spontaneous delivery is not there, or it might be there, and because of some acquired factors, there might be contracted pelvis. So, abdominal on abdominal examination or abdominal method for this uh, pelvimetry basically. So, clinical method, abdominal method in this, the patient is placed on the dorsal position. Then thighs are slightly flexed and separated. The head of the fetus is grasped with the left hand, and the two fingers, middle and index finger of the right hand, are placed above the symphysis pubis, keeping the inner surface of the finger in line with the anterior surface of the symphysis pubis. Means on the anterior surface of the symphysis pubis, the fingers of the right hand, index finger and middle finger, are kept, and with the help of left hand, the head is grasped. So, what are the diagnostic criteria? If at all you are grasping the head with the left hand, you push the head down in the pelvis. If at all it is pushed down in the pelvis without overlapping of the parietal bone, you can feel the overlapping of the parietal bone. And if at all you are feeling with these two fingers, and if at all the overlapping is not felt, then at the pubic symphysis, then there is no disproportion. And whenever head is pushed down, so little overlapping is felt with the help of the fingers. That is moderate disproportion. And whenever the head cannot be pushed down, instead parietal bones are hanging, and you cannot push the head down. And you can feel this with the two fingers that are placed on symphysis pubis. Then it is diagnostic of severe disproportion. So this procedure can be used as a screening procedure. This is not the ultimate conclusive procedure. So abdomino vaginal method, it is also known as Mueller-Monro Nair method. This is bimanual method, and this is somewhat superior to this one, abdominal one. Here uh, the fingers are placed, vaginal fingers are placed at the tip, at the level of ischial spine to note the descent of the head. And then lower bowel is emptied, enema has to be given to the patient. And now the other thumb is placed above the symphysis pubis, and the two fingers, middle finger and index finger, they are inserted inside the vagina, and you can feel the uh, means whatever the type of pelvis it is there. So here, what are the inferences we can draw? What are the conclusions? If at all the head is pushed down to the level of ischial spine, then overlapping of parietal bones, no. When if at all there is no overlapping of parietal bones, then no disproportion. And if at all slight overlapping of parietal bones after the pushing of the head down at the ischial spine, but not up to the level of ischial spine, but somewhat down on the pubic symphysis, then moderate disproportion. If at all head cannot be pushed down with the help of the left hand that is on the abdomen, if at all it cannot be pushed down, then instead the parietal bones you can it felt hanging at symphysis pubis, then there is severe disproportion. So X-ray pelvimetry is available. Again, MRI, cephalometry. In cephalometry, MRI is generally used to notice the this cephalopelvic disproportion. Degree of disproportion and contracted pelvis. This is basically imaging pelvimetry is used to assess this all these points. So this is about the imaging. Imaging generally MRI is used, and effects of this contracted pelvis on pregnancy and labor. Now, on pregnancy, you can notice the general course of the pregnancy generally not affected because of this cephalopelvic disproportion, but there are chances of retroverted gravid uterus because there is the scope for the uterus and on the anterior aspect is not too much more, so it may get retroverted. Again, abdomen becomes pendulous, especially in multigravida. Abdominal muscles are lax. Malposition, malpresentation is common because of this contracted pelvis and cephalopelvic disproportion. In labor, during labor, generally there are incidences of early rupture of membrane. Early rupture of membrane might be there. Cord prolapse may be there. Cervical dilatation is slow. Increased tendency, prolonged labor, and in neglected cases, obstructed labor. So for obstructed labor, major cause is cephalopelvic disproportion. Again, patient is in too much exhaustion, agony, dehydration, ketoacidosis, sepsis, and again puerperal sepsis. Patient may land up in, so operative interference is increased. Chances of PPH is much more, and patient will land up in hemorrhagic shock. Again, sepsis and puerperal pyrexia and puerperal sepsis chances are much more. Maternal injuries are there because of this. Cervical tear might happen, and vaginal injury is very common. And again, fetal hazards, there is trauma to the fetus is evident because of cephalopelvic disproportion, and if at all vaginal delivery is tried, then there are chances for the fetal injury is much more. Asphyxia is also common because of the obstructed and prolonged labor. Because of obstructed labor, because of obstructed labor, this neonatal asphyxia is very common, and the neonate is under stress because of obstructed labor. Fetal distress is there, and if at all labor occurs, then asphyxia is common. Again, management point of view, if at all we are looking for minor degree, there are not that much problem. If at all minor degree is there, induction might be done, but generally elective cesarean section is the treatment for this cephalopelvic disproportion, and a chance should not be taken by the doctor if at all cephalopelvic disproportion is diagnosed. Elective cesarean section and labor trial should not be given. It is mentioned in the book, but trial labor is also somewhere, some in some institutes it has been tried in such cases. So cesarean section has to be done. So trial labor, what do you mean by trial labor? So trial labor is basically conduction of spontaneous labor in moderate degree of cephalopelvic disproportion. If at all cases of CPD and mild moderate CPD, and there is conduction of spontaneous labor, spontaneous labor has been onset, there is already labor has been started spontaneously, and the patient is with moderate degree of cephalopelvic disproportion, then what has to be done? This is about the trial labor. So, conduction of spontaneous labor in moderate degree of cephalopelvic disproportion under supervision of trained obstetrician, and watchful expectancy is very important. So, aim of this is to avoid the cesarean section and delivering the healthy baby. Contraindication for this trial labor, if at all it is spontaneously onset, if at all the onset is spontaneous, then also there is some contraindications and operative interference is needed whenever there is mid pelvic or outlet contraction is there. Complicating factors are present like elderly priming gavida, malpresentation, malposition, post maturity, cesarean section previously done, hypertensive disorders is present, gestational diabetes, case of tuberculosis, any heart disease, systemic disease is present, any infection is present, genitourinary tract severe infection is present, and in such cases, such trial labor is contraindicated. So this is about the contracted pelvis. This is a short note topic, and this has been generally uh, short note topic and somewhat sometimes asking viva. So this is about the topic. If at all you are having any query, please mention in the comment box. I will try to resolve it. Thank you. Thank you very much.